And the share, if you share the video in groups, that helps out tremendously. I had a lot of people that it's about paying it forward. It's about paying your dues or your tithe or whatever it is. What you're doing is you're making sure that the energy exchange is balanced. And it's so important to give and receive. But it's very important to understand that if you're giving too much, you're going to undo the energy balance, and you're going to create karma for yourself. Now, doing good deeds for others, but if you're constantly giving, and you're not receiving, you're creating, again, another energy imbalance. When that occurs, you will, you'll call it a bitch slap, or you'll call it bad things happening. And, it's not about, in the old days, people were like, when you're really in ego, it was, oh my God, you should do something and not do it to receive. Well, you got to remember, if you're in ego, then you are doing it for a different thing, a different way of doing it. When you're in spirit, you have to understand the laws of the universe. The laws of the universe allow you to keep everything in checks and balance. If your thought processing is that life's unfair, then you're going to have to project that out to see your beliefs. And if you are holding energy, life force, in that belief system and those emotions, then again, you have to see it out here. That means you have to attract people to do things to you. You have to attract and interact with it. If your, how do you want to put it? If your emotions are in charge, you're over-identifying with them, then you are just ego. There is a big difference between what you need to become, and why do I say need? People are saying, oh, I'm spiritual, but they don't know how to connect to their higher self. They don't know how to operate through that heart. They don't know how to use their gut intuition. And they'll wonder why life's shitting on them. So if you look at the belief system, then you can hear how they are victims. And if you feel like you can't do anything about it, then you are a victim. You are showing yourself that you have a limitation. When that happens, that limitation is going to be comfortable. It's going to be the first chakra. It's going to be your comfort zone. It's what you expect. It's what your pattern, how you do anything is how you do everything. And it's like you have got to train yourself that you are supposed to see limitations. That's through the ego. And your ego will over-identify with it and say, yep, this is it. Yep, this is it. Yep, this is it. And you can run to your timeline. You can do the worst case scenario. But that's not the best place to live. You want to live through your heart, through your higher self, and communicate with your gut intuition. When you're like, how do you live through your heart? Well, you got to first stop using your ego to over-identify with everything and feel every emotion. There's a difference between ego emotions and spiritual empathy. So as I'm doing spiritual empathy, that is, I have to find my true identity. I'm not my kids, I'm not my house, I am not my clothes, I am not my personality, to tell you the truth. I'm spirit, and I am love. We have to remember that. It's getting back to remembering what is love. As you begin to remember what is love, you will go into that state of gratitude, which is you've already received it once. You've learned it. You felt it. You know it. And gratitude is that, yes, the body knows how to receive. And there is the very important part. Because you already know the feeling about receiving. So you live in gratitude of, wow, I already have this and it feels good. Now it's like when you tell a joke and it's funny and you tell the joke and you're like, okay, and you're telling the joke for the fourth or fifth time, you're like, okay, shut up already, don't do this. And that's where you just becomes normal. It becomes auto response. And what's important to understand is that you are a living, breathing being. A living, breathing being allows you to move in that next phase of your life. But are you going to do it through ego, or are you going to do it through spirit, your higher self? See, your spirit and your higher self, comes into terms with your soul and your programs. And this is where it gets complicated for a reader or a spiritualist or whatever you want to call me. Because as I'm reading, it can be the planets that interfere. You can see how everything comes together. You can see how it's a soul program. You get to see all of these little things and you wonder where it's all coming from. And it can get very complicated. That's why when I'm looking at the energy cords that go back, it goes back to a particular point in your life. You can't say that you were never a baby. You were a baby. You had to age. And each of those moments have been captured. And because we live in a spiral and not linear, it's still alive. It's still active. And you have memories and your emotions. But if you have a memory that you're over-identified with in emotions, which is a trauma and a drama, you're going to feel separation and lack. You're going to be forever trying to resolve that to get that what is missing back. When you be in that state, you can then, what we should have done and what we needed to learn, okay, is that we're doing it now. How do we cope, handle, deal, manage, pacify what life feels like? We're in this virtual reality, this hologram, and it is so real. We can pick it up with our sensory system. But it is when we get those emotions that are so strong and those experiences that are so deep that we attach ourselves. People say surrender. And people say we need to become unattached. And people says let it go. And for years it's like, I thought I did. And you have levels of forgiveness. And when you get to that levels of forgiveness, and that's one of the things that Hope Therapy does. That's what I do, is that I help you go through releasing forgiving others, forgiving yourself. But you have to forgive deeper, that I should have known better. And then you have to forgive even deeper when it comes to, I rejected that shadow part of myself. In Hope Therapy, it takes those emotions that you couldn't resolve, and all of a sudden, you're like, whoa, your mind becomes clearer, your heart becomes more love, and you're like, whoa. And when you begin to forgive those pieces of yourself, you literally are going to allow yourself to regain those missing pieces. And when you start to integrate those parts of yourself that you rejected, you're thinking, oh my God, I thought I hated them. But they are who you are. You find out what love is by what it's not. And then you get to decide more about what your true identity is and what you want to experience and what you've learned. And you can be done with that. And you can take and surrender that emotion by resolving it out. And literally when I I don't need that piece anymore. I don't need to hold on that I hate this or I need to reject this. When you've learned to let go of those emotions, then all of a sudden you get to have a deeper transformation of yourself, and the emotions that you took up residency there don't control you anymore. And you're like, whoa, this is new. I mean, I have had in the last couple weeks, my clients, I've had to call some pieces back. And they can't come in if you're going to take those emotions and those beliefs and those fears and those traumas and those dramas and wedge it in there and separate yourself from that, and you're rejecting those parts of yourself and you're rejecting that reality. And you have to heal those wedges. And the transformation is when you get to call back yourself. It's amazing because you get to look out and all of a sudden the colors look different. Sounds seem beautiful. Everything looks brighter. I've had people to write, oh my God, for the first time they get to feel what love is. I'll get to you, Sharon. And I appreciate you paying. And we're going to have our first reading in a minute, which I'm going to love to do. And thank you for sharing, because you get a card. Thank you for liking up and loving up there, because you get a card. And Spirit loves to give. And Steve, the PC repair bloke, if you're in Adelaide, I highly recommend this man. And he gave because that's just part of his nature, is to give. I mean, he wants to resolve the issues for the computer, and mine were Murphy's Law. I'm like, oh, oops. But he was kind, and he was caring, and he, was just, the reciprocity was there. It was working to get it done, and it didn't cost me an arm and a leg. And it's like, wow, I really appreciate your service. That was his time. And it's important to give and receive and keep that balanced. And the more you heal your emotions, and that I'm telling you, emotions screw up the thoughts. And the deeper part of you, when you get healing, is that you're going to find out you have specific meridians that are meant to help you learn your lessons. And, oops, didn't mean to pull away here. And you're going to find out more and more that you're this wonderful human being that doesn't have to be bombarded, attached, controlled by emotions. Emotions are telling you about the past, a feeling in the present moment as you are exchanging energy. And if you listen with the heart, you won't have to get lost in the chemical peptide that you have to overtrust. Okay? You don't have to overtrust. Because, let me explain, when people can go to churches, live events, seminars, and they play all that music and they get you going and they make you feel so giddy and love and all of that, and it's beautiful. And all of a sudden you're producing the hormone that causes you to feel good, but it also causes you to trust, and sometimes trust too much, and people out there know that. And they will take advantage of that and say, bye, 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 bye. You can't live without it, but there are some groups that when they get you going, because they do want you to get in that heart space. Now, you guys experiencing a lot of lag, because on my feedback, there's a lot of lag. I hope not. But anyway, you want to feel better. You want to listen with your heart, but that's where your gut intuition comes into play, and it helps balance you so you don't have to feel and get lost in the emotion. Now, you also have to learn that you are, about empathy and kindness. You want to learn about oh, wonderful, Jasmine. Oh, good, no leg. I don't know why I've got it, but that's okay. So that feeling in the moment, and you're using your. Here's the thing: when we are in that moment, and we have empathy, and we have kindness, it creates us to see other people as humans and love. It doesn't. You don't see them as objects. Okay, so as you're using your heart and your true identity, and you're listening to your intuition, it helps keep you safe because you're feeling, and the feeling of different sensations and different vibrations. And then when you need help, you don't have to go to your ego, you can go to your memories, and then you can go to your higher self, and then I need some guidance. We've kind of broke that down. We've kind of went to that state where we've cut off and separated ourselves from our higher self. We put up so many heart walls that we pushed many people away, and then we're like screwing up our gut, not just with food, but with our doubts and our fears and with all these paradigms that are out there. And because of that, we've turned to just over-identifying with matter and looking at our ego, and our ego's going, oh yeah, we've been here. Yeah, We have to go back to when we learned at 2 years old that it worked, and we're going to try to use that because we don't know how to solve it here. And that's where they say you can't solve anything with the mind that created it. Because when you're trying to solve something, you're using that same aspect. And we want to move you into a new state. Okay? We want to move you to that beautiful spot where you can really allow love to just flow through and love to be. Now, if any of you start to experience lag, let me know, because I don't even have Valium. Well, maybe I'm not supposed to have Valium. I can't even remember how I used to do the shows. That's what's funny. All right, Miss Gordon, it's almost time. As long as you guys can hear me, like I said, I turned this up so you can hear me. Now, if I might end up doing something a little different as well, and that might be if somebody, we'll play the game because I don't want to start it now because people will jump on it. Okay. Let's see. What do I need? I need to call in the spirits. They're already here. I can feel them. My God. Okay, there's a lot of fear and shame and guilt. Well, I don't. That's not to you, Sharon. It's like filing in, and it is come in. I can feel the weight, and then all of a sudden I'll like this one's affecting my stomach as if I have digestive issues. Oh, they're helping me feel all of you. Usually they give me a topic to pick from all of you, but in this case they already had a topic in mind, and the topic I thought I was going to talk about never got to be said yet. All right, so I'm just going to light this candle real quick. We're on a different schedule, so I'm actually able to get up earlier and get a lot more done. I've noticed since I can't really connect with the picture that I'm watching, then I have to, I use my hands more, so I'm so sorry about that. Okay, Miss Gordon. Now, did you want to call and we can communicate that way so you can really get your money's worth? Or you can, I can just do like I normally do. And did you have a topic that you wanted to talk about? Okay, you just let me know. Because I'll turn this on anyway, just in case somebody does want to call.
Line in mode.
Hopefully y'all can hear that. Yeah, I gotta learn all about those new energy, new moons, I know everything's changing. The consciousness is beautiful. It's growing and it's expanding. It's magnificent. Ooh, the energy just wobbled. Usually when that sensation follows through and they're saying, please finish off. Okay, so as the feeling in the present moment, you don't really pull up your emotions, okay? So I'm just waiting for Miss Sharon to communicate with me. Your emotions are telling you you had a past. Your emotions are saying, hey, this is what your past is. A feeling is you have a file system that you can use your reference on. The over-identification is when you go from love into fear, and fear is the name, but underneath it is your anger, resentment, all of those negative emotions. And because you are constructing what's happening in this moment, you have a tendency to oh no. Anyway, the emotions. So if you can't cope, handle, and deal, and your emotions, and you're feeling the sensations deep within yourself, these emotions are trying to tell you that they're trapped. They're telling you about a story. They're telling you how you attached yourself. They're telling you that you need to surrender. Your soul says, can you heal this now? And when you begin to understand how the soul speaks, you can really move mountains, because you find a tool. You don't have to be stuck with the pain and the suffering. Okay? Okay, so the comments are stuck. She says video is fine. Okay, we can do that. Now it's funny as I can hear my phone out there ringing. Now, there is a beautiful horse that's being present right now. It's a very beautiful horse. There's a sun, and the horse is next to the fence. He's out in the paddock, and I feel like this horse wants to come in and say thank you about something that you shared with this horse in this lifetime. And it's showing, it's not showing a timeline. It's showing that it's a spiral, and the horse is, the horse has been watching you. It does like the new home. The horse said something about Ghost as being, which is her cat, is being very skittish about something, because skittish is the word I'm looking at, because it looks like it's trying to take off, and it's funny, but yet I think how do I put it? What's going on with the cat? The horse is saying that its auto response, and it has picking up energy of being discouraged. So in your new home, I would highly suggest, if you've got a pendulum, go to the corners of your house inside and just start clearing it out using infinite love and gratitude. Balance that energy, put light there, use an incense, you smudge the corners, however you want to do it. But there is some leftover residue. I don't know if you had your place work done recently or not, or if this is old, but it is very much very distracting to the cat. Wow, what's happening? Do you got snowfall? Do you got... It throws the cat's scent off. I don't know what's happening. It's really weird. Because... How do you want to put it? It's... The horse is here, the cat's over here, and then there's this nothingness. Is there a disconnect? Oh, disconnect. Oh. What is? Is it just the ghost trying to adjust? Yes. Is that the disconnect? Yes. You have, okay, because of the area, I don't know if you got any close people, neighbors, that's what they're called. There is some shame and guilt. I don't know if it's yours or you're picking it up or what it is, but somehow it is coming in and being... Now I'm getting a headache. I've got bowel issues all of a sudden. Something is not... Okay, I'm going to ask, is the energies in that environment good? Yes. A disconnect. Does she have a disconnect in the physical aspect? Yes. Is her brain connected to everything? Okay, her body connected to... Is there spirit in her body? What do you mean by disconnect? Between two organs. Oh. The gallbladder and the large intestine. They're not communicating. Is it because something's there? What? What is there? There's guilt. Oh, wait, what's this? Well, that's interesting. Is this old guilt? Yeah, a part that she rejected because she believed people when they were mean to her. Oh, good point. All right, so can you give me an age? At 4 years old, there was a part of you that rejected yourself out of guilt and then shame. It's like you woke up, saw your family, and it was hard to unsee what somebody told you was their truth. Is it your truth? No, but you took it on and you didn't like that part of yourself, so then you rejected yourself. And in order for you to cope, handle, deal with that part you rejected, and what do I mean by this is that you're like, oh, I don't, let's say you're like, oh, these thoughts, oh, I can't believe I'm that, like that, and oh, and these thoughts, and they just don't stop, and these emotions, and so your coping tool was to become indifferent to them. So did you repress? No, you just shut it up, disconnected. So you just disconnected from the emotions, and you think that would be good, right? But it shut off, disconnected other energies. Escaping. Escaping the pains, escaping the ego, escaping that those emotions, those feelings, those Yes, okay, so let's look at that. All right, so just a second here. We're going to see if I can...
Hi.
Hi, sweetheart. Let me turn this up. So what did you think so far of what I've been saying? Oops.
That's cute.
Yeah, I had to turn it up, and it turned up all right. First of all, if you guys can hear her, that would be great. Let me know. So go ahead and say something, dear.
Hello, how are you? Greetings from my new house.
Hopefully y'all heard her. I don't know why this is so quiet, but we'll check it out. Yeah, there's such a delay.
If it doesn't work, let me know and I can go back into Facebook.
No, that's fine. I can hear you even if they can't. We can go that route. So, what's been going on so far? So you had a question because I see you said saged. Okay, no, that okay. All right, so yeah.
Whatever's up for me from spirit.
So were you able to hear anything I've said so far?
Yeah, I've heard it.
Okay, so anything in particular that needs to be defined or nothing? Well,
I can't quite grab what I was trying to say. So.
That's all right. Okay, so just to let you know, as I'm looking at this, you know, the horse came through, was worried about Ghost, which I thought was cute.
The horse is worried about Ghost?
Yes, this is a horse you had in the past. He's watching you, and it is about making sure you sage or clean certain parts of your house because of the I don't know if it was past experience or somebody did a job and they hurt themselves, but there's like residue that the cat's like freaking out about.
Oh.
And he does every now and then. There's like a part of your house. It's like he walks by and he jumps and.
I know he does from the back patio door because he can see outside now.
Okay, well there's something there, and like I said, it might have been connected to who was living there before or your neighbors or however this goes. But as we go into your that part of you, there was at 4 years old. I'm going to turn the time back on, but at 4 years old, it was something to do with you believed a lie from somebody, and you know, like, oh, look at you, blah blah blah, and you believed them even though they were being mean kids. And then, you know, they said stuff about your family, and you looked at your family in such a way that you're like, oh my God, and you didn't see that before, but you saw what they suggested. And you rejected a big part of yourself. Okay?
Okay.
So one of the things that on a deep level of healing is understanding what part did you reject. In this case, they're saying it has a lot to do with how other people told you that you should reject that part of yourself. And it's not true. It's just they were being mean. And it has to do with, and the horse said something earlier, I didn't say it, but it was about making you feel like shit.
No, yeah.
Oh, okay, good, you know what I mean. Yeah, okay. But you believed their truth. And so you rejected, it had to do with money, it had to do with the way you looked. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Oh, so did they pick on you for your looks or something?
I was like the country bumpkin.
Oh, that's right.
And I was the country. So city people thought, you know, you're poor, you're not worth nothing.
So you just moved, and do you have neighbors?
Yeah, but they're farther away than last time.
Oh, that's good. Okay, so so the rejection part of you is that you rejected what they called you, a country bumpkin, and that part of you that you rejected, you kind of need to start calling her home. And the disconnect between the large intestine and the gallbladder has to do with the habit of silent brooding, not breeding. Yeah, you'd probably like to do some of that, but the silent brooding. And that is when you sit back and you are thinking it and you mull it over and you think too much and you feel attacked. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
And they said that you've been, everything's been go, 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 new job, new house, just new environment, new things. But you're starting to return back to normal. But part of your normalcy is that you don't really want to do silent brooding. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
And what was it? We talked once, and then I didn't get to talk to you again. And you said, "Oh," I said, "Oh, you'll have to probably need to get a reading for that." What was that about? Do you remember? Was it pain? Was it just?
It was pain because I stretched a certain way at work, and my vertebrae, three of them in my neck and upper shoulder.
All right.
And then I could walk on my right side again.
That's part of the disconnect energy. So do we want to connect it back? Can we do it? No. Is there something? It's the physical? No, it's emotional. What is in there that's causing it? And they said your self-imposed limitation. So you have to limit yourself for something. What are you eliminating? Is it have to do with work? Yeah, so you're doing something different at work. So you're doing a self-imposed limitation on yourself, like you're holding back or you're something like this, and it's causing you to literally show up. It's like, oh, if it's in the back of your neck, that means you're not willing to stick your neck out. You're not willing to use your voice. You're not willing to do something. So have you been holding back?
Yeah, because my job has changed a bit. I tried a new job. I couldn't do it. It was too involved and too complicated.
Ugh.
So I had to give it up and go back to the other job, but that had changed too. So I had a dream one morning that my dad was talking to me, but it wasn't anything like my dad. Said, "Thanks for the job. I really like your dad." And all these people kept coming up to me, showing me they were doing jobs I'd never heard of or seen before, and neither had they. And they said, "Thanks to your dad." And I realized that not everything looks the same, and your job has changed. So when I walked in, they had different rules, different things we had to do. And now we have to do everything under a time limit, so it's faster.
Oh.
So now I have to even walk even more. But at least I'm not arguing with Tracy or anybody.
That's right. All right. So, timer ring, but I'm just going to finish this real quick.
Okay.
So, no, it's not willing. Is that the self-imposed limitation is that you have to limit yourself from. What do you have to limit yourself
Cannot voice
from?
my opinion.
Yeah, you have to limit yourself from going into old habit. And you feel so in this new job, are you dishonoring your feelings?
I am honoring my feelings. I just can't speak about anything that I don't like.
All right, so here's the thing. Because you have to do that, that's the limitation, is that I would like you to write down R1S and L2S, and I want you to work on those 2 points, okay? And I want you to think about how you can't voice. Think about how you can't do this next point, part of your life. You understand what I mean? So check like in I can't remember, go back 11 minutes from 44 minutes, okay? So that you can see your what we talked about. But it's holding in there, and it's like the large intestine is about how you got to do the same old crap, and then your gallbladder is that it's about, oh, it happened once, it's going to happen again, okay? So you've been there, done that, and now this is where it's being held, is in here, okay? So start pulling that emotion out, and, and if the energy should reconnect. If it doesn't, then we'll have to reconnect it, okay? But right now, your body is just saying, I can't. I'm not wanting to go through this. It's like saying, I gave birth once. Oh, hell no, I'm not giving birth again. So that's where your body is at work. You're like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Okay, so remember it's R2S and L2S. So, yeah, R1S and L2S. Yeah, so if you don't remember it, I'll... listen to your thing again. There we go.
Okay.
All right. Thank you for calling in, dear. I appreciate it. We'll talk to you later.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, so that's good. I wanted to see how this works. I don't know why the volume's so bad on this. I may end up hooking up my laptop. Again, Steve, the PC Repair Bloke.com in Adelaide here. Hooked me up, helped me fix my old computer, and it's all good. As I look, it says, how do you call them home? The soul retrieval? The way that I've been taught by spirit, not by other individuals, is there's many different tools you can use. One of the things that I end up having to do is I listen to how the soul wants to look at the issue. How do I resolve that issue, whether it's an emotion, changing a belief, resolving out something. And then it is, once you've done enough layer work, because sometimes you can pull it by the root, but there's still layers, or sometimes you have to go from layers all the way down to the root. And then once you get there, and here's the thing, you got to participate. You got to decide that you're done looking at life through hell, or done looking at it and feeling it this way, done doing old crappy habits. Once you begin to participate a little bit more, then all of a sudden, it'll be just time. And then as I'm helping a person do hope therapy, which is this, the holding of the head and the pulse points, feeling the emotions and resolving out certain things, then all of a sudden it'll be time. Because we removed the wedge. We went the next step. And then there's different ways. We may have to go look for this piece, or the piece will just stand right there and wait to be connected again. And then the integration will happen. Everybody is uniquely different when I'm working with that. But when it comes to with rejected pieces, now there's missing pieces from the soul, and then there's rejected pieces that you have to call back, depending on where you are on this path. When you, like I said, there's many people that have, like, some people that are controlled by past life missing pieces can have a very dramatic life and abuse in this life, and they're like, I can't make it stop. I've got these demons, these freaking things seem to happen. But when you start to remove the layers, and you are consciously participating with yourself, and then we call you back, all of a sudden you're feeling different, and you the things that you never thought were going to change, that overtime hopelessness, it changes, and you're like, whoa, I can stand up for myself. Things that were arrested development, where you couldn't maybe talk back, or you couldn't stand up, or you couldn't, just becomes automatic, and you're like, I can do this. And it's a different form of you, and you begin to feel whole, and it's the literal feeling and a sensation, because it's the past, it's the present, and it gives you this hope for that future. Okay? Now, would have loved to have, done a live healing on there, but there we go, move that up. Yeah, and when you're working with me, it is like Sharon's worked with me before, and we'll get on, and we can, we say hello, we chit-chat for a minute because we became friends, but normally I don't, turn the timer on until we're ready, and when we are, it's like, boom, let's just get into this, let's get your familiarity, let's find out what that soul piece is trying to say, and then we begin to help you remove and resolve. And what happens with the memories and the traumas and the dramas and the emotions, and it's this big ball, you begin to resolve those chemical peptides that are very active at making you feel and think and act, especially thinking, the overthinking, and having to come up with ways to cope and to deal and to control, and so those feelings will go away. When you resolve those, the memory becomes a memory, and the emotions have been resolved, mean non-active. You can still feel certain things, but your story will be different. And if you're okay to let go of the story, the emotions will go faster. You get to that stage of the notice the thoughts have changed, but then you have to participate in your life and choose, I don't have to think that way anymore. I don't have to feel that way anymore. I can choose better emotions to create my reality. Okay. Now, I'm going to double check to make sure anybody else has wanted to do a paid reading. Nope, that's good. Just double checking. That's all good. And you guys can call in. I was going to suggest that if, yeah, okay. Some of you haven't worked with me before, and some of you have. I'm going to give you the opportunity to, but you have to be friends with me on my Facebook personal page, not my fan page, my personal page. And when you're friends with me, that means that through Messenger, we can call and communicate. With that, I'm going to find out how much time did you want me to offer? That's interesting. They don't want 5, which is change. They want 6, which is love. 6 minutes. So we want to do 6 minutes? You can do that. 6 minutes, and we'll see if anybody wants to. Now, whoever gets through first, this is going to be an interesting, fun ride, is that I'll take one call, and then the rest of you, you're just going to have, once the person talks and you get this registered, then everybody else has to stop calling. Not sure how that happens. I've never had anybody call me. Oh, I'm going to love reading your comments. We can hear your echo. Let me turn this down. How's this? Because I got nothing else on in this room. Now, did the echo voice happen when I was talking to Sharon, or was it just now? And you're very helpful, Elaine. Oh. Amy. Oh, Robin. That's sad. It's replaying your intro. Do you have an app open? Does anybody else hear this? Because I can't tell. I don't have anything else open. And it seems like my phone never rings. Now I've got it ringing again. I pray nothing bad's happening. Oh, no, Elaine, that's fine. Okay. Miss Amy Jensen. You called, so guess what? I've got it ringing again. Yeah, you're going to get a reading. Okay, hold on.
Yay.
Oh, good. I'm so... Everybody hear her? Say something.
Hi, everybody.
Y'all can hear her? All right. Well, we've worked together before, so this is wonderful, Amy. So, just if you don't mind, you did get you just tasted a little bit of experience of when doing hope therapy. Has that helped you at all? I mean, have you noticed a difference?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay. And people need to understand that it's who you were before, something that you're used to living with, and then you end up doing a healing. You can feel different. Is that true?
That's very true.
Okay. What can you share? I mean, what did you know? Because we want you to witness. And that's what's so important is that if people, after you do a healing, you witness who you were, how you feel, and then you learn to graduate and you get stronger. So what can you share?
I've had extreme low back pain for many years, and it's starting to go away.
Good. Good.
It's getting better.
Yeah, were you kind of shocked when you had that healing? And the pain?
Oh my God, yes. Yes.
So...
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
And you said something about you were able to sleep, too.
Yeah, I'm able to finally sleep. Decent.
Because and she, you say, oh my God, I'm jittery. Now, there will be different layers that'll come up, but we took care of that, too. Yes?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, sometimes people you'll have some different levels of things that are appearing. So, is there anything specific you want to work on during the 6 minutes, or do you want me to just pick something and we go?
Just go.
Okay, good. Okay, so what we're going to do, all right, ready? They said that you have a lot of awkward feelings when it comes to certain people.
Yeah.
Okay, this awkwardness does affect the back. It affects the second chakra, which would mean if it was affecting the back, it'd be the lower back pain. And then it affects the back chakra of the third, which would be in the middle part of the back. So, and they said awkward really is, because we worked on that, I think. And
yeah.
They're saying that what's interesting is that you've had a new experience since that healing. And have you bumped into people that were trying to manipulate you? Trying to get to you since then? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. She shook her head and then she said yes. So they're saying now the awkwardness is actually, can you notice there's a difference in it? Can you feel the sensation deeper now, more aware of it?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good, because that means we're getting to consciously recognize our old patterns and we're ready to let that go. Okay, so what we're going to do is that we're going to have you, where do you want her to hold? They haven't decided, just a minute. They're comparing, okay, so where awkwardness usually sits is the central meridian, which is in the front part of our body, but they don't want to just access that. They want to access that it's in the gallbladder. In this case,
I don't have one.
That's good to know. All of a sudden, I can't see my own writing. So apparently, it affects your eyesight too. I reject something out of my reality. Is that what that is? Yes. So you reject yourself. What do you reject? So you go into auto response. So you reject your opinion. You reject the way that you would normally thinking. Okay, I don't want to do this. Okay, so you rejected your own voice. Does this make sense?
Okay.
So your thoughts and your opinions you don't even think about anymore because you rejected it. What we need you to do is hold L2S. Okay, so it's can you see me okay, sweetheart? Oops, here.
Yeah.
All right, so it's the left wrist, and then remember this is first, that's second, and I need you to go into the second position, and then you're going to put your thumb in the second position. Remember, it's just like one finger down, and then you put your finger in the middle, and your thumb is going to be nice and soft. Yeah, she's already in position. And you're going to place it on your head. Now, I want you to think about that awkwardness, that you rejected your voice, your thoughts, your opinion. And you would like that back, but I want you to feel that awkwardness because you're going into auto response. You want to say something, but you can't. Oh, there it is. That's a lot of yellow. On a scale from 0 to 10, can you feel that awkwardness?
Good 10.
It's a 10? Okay. We're going to just see if we're going to connect. I want you to look to the lower left, and I want you to connect with that internal dialogue. We're going to remove, transcend, and let it go, let it go, let it go. This is all that self-talk. Now, I want you to look deeper in that self-talk. I can't say any what I want to say. I can't. Remove, transcend, let it go, let it go, let it go. I want you to look to the upper left and visualize how you were told to shut up. You can't say it. You can't say it. So somebody told you can't say it, and you're not supposed to say it. And so now as you got older, you can't say it. So it's literally like a command. Remove, transcend, let it go, let it go. As you begin to let go of those pictures, go back down to the lower left and hear that internal dialogue that somebody told you that you can't. Oh, and that's like a finger wagger. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Remove, transcend, let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go. Now, visit that awkwardness again. Is it still a 10 or less?
It's less.
Okay. And is it inside the body? It's in the back because I can feel it's like I don't have the courage to say what I want because I was told I can't. Remove, transcend, let it go, let it go. I want you to go to the middle left and I want you to remember sounds. Sounds of spanking, sounds of terror, sounds of like, I don't know if you've got brothers or sisters, but you observed, watched, okay, and you're like, oh my God. All right, remove, transcend, let it go, let it go, let it go. And so notice how your left brain jumps in and says, oh my God, I have to have fear, I have to have impending doom, I can't do this, I can't do it. Remove, transcend, let it go, let it go, let it go. And I don't know if it has to do with cultures or social, but it has to do with I have to, because it's in, it's like in my DNA, it's in my culture, it's in the way we live, it's the way my house is, it's the way. Remove, transcend, let it go, let it go. Preserve all those positive learnings, put them in that special place. And I want you to feel like, oh, I'm deficient. Ignore the alarm. We're just going to go. I'm going to give you another minute or two. You're deficient. You don't, I can't do, remove, transcend, let it go. Now notice how you really believe that you're deficient and you can't. And this is a choice as your younger self, your 1-year-old self said, I can't. And we're just going to allow yourself to deep into that I can't and pull it out. Now because it's inside, I want you to pull it up if it's safe and pull it out. Does it feel better? Just imagine you're pulling something up and out, whatever that is. The I can't, it's got shape. Oh, that feels different. Remove, transcend, let it go, let it go, let it go. And your brain is like, oh, it's starting to see something that it hadn't seen before. That's good. It's going through all kinds of emotions right now, so keep your hand there. Is there any awkwardness left?
I don't think so.
Okay, and do you feel any at all of, wow, my brain, deficient. Do you feel the deficient at all? Do you feel whole?
I feel whole.
Now, that rejected part where you can't, I want you to realize that that's gone and you can actually be whole. So that rejected part, you say, come on back. I can do this. I can say what I need to say. And we're just going to allow the integration. Allow the integration. Okay, so put your hand down, and I want you to do one more thing. And I want you to take and put your hand on top of your head. And I connect that piece to myself. I connect that part to myself. I recall that rejected part to myself. I am integrating with that. Oh, there we go. I'm integrating with that part of myself. I am whole again. I am integrated. Okay. All right, so what's going to happen is the next about 72 hours, things are going to be different. I don't know how it's going to look. You may all of a sudden just have as other people would say, well, you got a potty mouth, or you really smarting off today, or you. But just understand, don't be hurt by that. Say, I must be changing. It must be that part I rejected.
I have a blanket just like that.
Oh, you do? Oh, I'm freezing, and so this nice electric blanket. But anyways, how do you feel?
Good.
Yes, so she thought about it, and yeah, so she won't really know how it feels to some degree, because see, the love's coming back into her body too, because she rejected that part she couldn't love, and that's her though. So, and so a part of you, I want you to feel that love. Yeah, I love having my potty mouth, or I love to be able to be strong. I want you to connect and really feel that part of yourself, because it's like, that's you. You came in with that piece, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's a nice shift, because I just felt it. Usually I don't like to let people go or change until we've hit that level, and everything's starting to really, so we may have to do a Wayne Cook posture to rebalance that brain. It's on my website, but I'll send it to you, and if I haven't, please just, say, hey, what was that, Wayne Cook, and I'll let you know. All right. Thank you very much for playing with me, honey. I appreciate it. We'll talk to you later, okay?
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah, you'll have to hang up. I can't. Okay. See, that was wonderful. I'm hoping you guys can really see and hear just a little difference. So, whoever's remaining, I want you to just say yes, please, and I'll give you a minute and a half read. I'll double check to make sure I didn't get any more paid readings. Just double checking. Good. And then I'll hook this up. Definitely have got to get a new timer so y'all know, well, hey, what is that? I'm liking this new format, yet I'm not. We'll see what happens. I'm going to shut this off. And now we're going to start off with Danny. Now remember, if you've already said yes, please don't say it again, because I don't want it to jump too much. So with Danny Dowdy, relationships to yourself, relationships to kids, their younger versions. All right, so here we go. There's a child on the other side that's coming through. Don't be afraid to be alone. The pain does not have to live there. It is choosing to react, to stay in that reaction. And they're saying reaction. So it's like you had the oh my God moment, and you're stuck there. And then it became a reaction. So that reaction, now it becomes part of your personal reality and your personal reality. Your personality and your personal reality. If you were to remove it, there's a part of you that's afraid if you did, then you may go back into that panic. So you're overthinking this, so you don't have to feel that first shock. That first shock. You don't want to feel that first shock. And they said that in order to get over that first shock, you can make an appointment with me, or you can just go in. If you remember that first shock, you can just do some EFT. All right? And if you don't know about the EFT, you can just go ahead and write me, and I'll send you a link. And because you've learned by avoiding this panic of the first shock, because that even though I'm panicked, it's gone into that overtime hopelessness of that particular part of pain, that reaction. And so your body wants to get rid of that reaction, but that reaction is your safety blanket, so you don't touch the panic. You're welcome. If that makes any sense, okay? Next person is Lisa Hildebrand. I smell flowers and fairies and see them, and it is you've experienced this with other people, but you really can't seem to express and to share that wonder that you're in, and you starting to notice, my middle of my back starts to hurt, about what invalidating means. Okay, if you were to go and look up invalidation, look up the different definitions of it if the first one doesn't explain it. Look at a different perspective of it, because you're coming to terms with, I don't know. I really don't need to invalidate myself because other people do that. You're going to start noticing paradigms and programs of people, of how, because of old programs, you've taught them to teach you, to treat you in a certain way. And you're like, but I don't want that anymore. I really don't. And you're going to notice that you're done with that, and that's good. So you're going to slowly be able to observe, write it down, and grow. And as you do that, you're going to get stronger. And remember to do all the homework that's with our session. Okay, the next one is Tanya Cook. Wow, it's just like my head is clear. But how do you stay connected to spirit so you can be inspired? Because there's a pattern of overtime hopelessness, and they're saying that it's in the gallbladder meridian, which is about my body remembers the hell it went through once, and it's like I'm afraid it's going to happen again. Okay, but it's in this. Ooh, see, now it just jumped. It's like, ooh, I'm distracted, and then you go over here. Ooh, and it's like you can't get back to what it originally wanted to do, which is to. So that means you're avoiding. What are you avoiding? Rejected? Avoiding what in particular? You are avoiding to trust yourself because of at 3 years old you doubted and distrusted yourself because you got in trouble for something that you thought you knew what you were doing, and the way that it was approached to you, it scared the hell out of you. So you've learned to distrust yourself and not have that particular confidence. So you also use this overtime hopelessness as a way to not have to go up to. And they said that the energy of distrust is invading. And that's not good. It's invading the spleen area, so it's causing the lack of control. So I would literally do a healing where we would take the invading emotion out of distrust, and so that your spleen can actually start to function. So emotions can get trapped into other organs that is not meant to be there, and can cause a disruption. So just real quick, Danny, if you look up on the web page or on my screen, it says medicinewoman4u.weebly.com. That is where you're going to find healing, and then you'll see another link that says healing tools, and that's where you'll find the EFT, okay? Because when I started out, I had to open up a new Weebly page because the other one was just giving me issues. I couldn't get linked back up because I couldn't pay. I didn't have any money to pay to buy my website back. So there was all these other things, and finally I got it to be open, free, but had to change a lot of things. So anyways, up there you'll see it. Okay, so Elaine Stefanakos. I know y'all think I'm cute because I can't pronounce things. I laugh at myself. Okay, Elaine. 2 shoes. You got 2 left feet? It shows me 2 left shoes, and it is the part of you doesn't want to make your own steps in the world, so you end up stepping on yourself. It's not that you're not coordinated. Why? Why does this happen? Because you believe, without realizing it, that you're deficient, that you're not efficient enough, that you don't have something. And so, and all that really is that, is it because you were told? No, because you haven't developed it. So you're going to learn. Thank you, Spirit. This next part of my life, and you're going to use thank you therapy as a way to bring it in before you receive it, and then when you receive it, you do gratitude. Gratitude brings in that energy that your body says, oh, I've had this before. And then you learn to graduate with Spirit into the next level. So you'll learn how to bring in clues, and you'll learn how to develop. And when you do that, you become less deficient. Now you believe it, which means the emotion is strong, very strong. And then I would, if you can't use hope therapy, it has to do with envy. Okay, so somebody was envied, and you didn't like that, so you made yourself small and deficient. So when you go to EFT it, you're going to have to look at EFTing it in the way of, I did it to myself, so others can stop making me feel this way. Okay? Laura Anderson, and you're welcome, Sharon. Miss Laura. There is some instability. If you know what muddled is, understand that they have gone together, which then causes you to understand that you become muddled when you have people that bring their energy of loftiness to the table. That they have to be first, it's not that they're just better than you, it's just like, oh my God, take care of me first, you know? And so you've learned to put yourself on hold. The problem with that is you're still on hold. You don't know how to get yourself off the hold button. It's like when we want to disappear, we put this invisibility cloak. Well, we got to eventually take that off. You got to take yourself off hold. You got to intentionally realize, wait, I don't have to put myself on hold? Really? That's a choice? And if you feel like you can't help it, you then tap out, even though I put myself on hold, because you trained yourself as a coping tool to become muddled and it becomes unstable when their loftiness, their energy of the way they present themselves comes into your space. And so it must be a bitch when you go out in public, because it's very much the compatibility, all of this. It's hard because of the empathy. You can feel things. That would make a lot of sense of the instability. The Linda. All right, Miss Haynes. All right. So were you considered a goody two-shoes, or did you accuse somebody? No? It's just that, were you trying to live up to a standard? And that, okay, I feel like somebody said this is what perfection is, this is how you live up to a certain standard. And the problem with that is that it changes with everybody. So their rules are always different, if that makes sense. And the thing is they said that you've grown to hate it, and you've grown to see that you fail. And then it becomes a pattern, and then again, it's a sensation. Your body knows this. Your body says, "We gotta do this again. I don't want to do this again." And it literally begins to feel like it's being invalidated. The body itself, not your mind. The body itself feels like it's being invalidated because you're not listening to it. You know, it's like, remember, every cell of us has consciousness. And your body is trying to get you to, no, you need to pay attention to me. So it goes into panic to get your attention. To let me further explain, I'll tell you that in a second. So you become very self-conscious of yourself because your body's trying to tell you, pay attention to me. So then you become self-conscious, body consciousness of what other people think your body looks like. Oh my God, they're not accepting it. I can't even accept it. So it's, yes, you need to accept your body, but they just shut me right up. Well, not good timing anyway. Well, what did you want to tell her? What the body does, just real quick, is the body says, it's 2 o'clock, we should eat. What? Why isn't my owner? Why aren't they listening to me? It's 2 o'clock, I'm hungry. Hello? Oh, you really want some potato chips. I mean, they're trying to figure out, they're having an organization, they're talking, they had a meeting, all your cells and your body says, okay, and then they're going to convince you, and the next thing you know, you don't understand. You were going to go to the gym, and you were so determined, consciously determined, and then all of a sudden you're on the couch with a bag of chips watching TV, and you're mindlessly, you're like, how did I get here? It's because your body wants you to go in. It's not trying to sabotage you. It just goes into pattern, and you're breaking that pattern. It doesn't mean it's healthy. It just means you need to learn how to break certain patterns. Caitlin Nichols. Oh, we got to heal that constant anxiety, Danny. Caitlin. So there was a traumatic event that's causing eating issues. 1 year old. So there's a switch in our brain that tells us when we're full, or tells us when we're hungry. Now, it's not telling me whether it's one or the other. It could be taking turns, that you don't feel like you're full, so you got to constantly eat, or you don't have that shut off point, or all of a sudden you just, the thought of is I don't want to eat at all. And your body is becoming very confused because it's trying to be normal, but it goes into that traumatic event, which I would normally say it's an active memory. But in this case, it's an actual program. Your body is programmed. And why is it programmed? Because you have to dishonor yourself. So your wrestling must be with food, if that's what they're talking about. But it's the program that is causing you to react to food, and because of what? Because of that traumatic event, and your ego is still quite attached to that traumatic event. And the one emotion that's really attached to it is that you are irrelevant. And so I would definitely say tap out irrelevancy. Oh, you're welcome. Okay, so hopefully, give me some feedback on my fan page. That would be great. You don't have to, it'd be great if you did reviews. But even if we just communicate with me to let people know that, little things. Just have a conversation with me on my page. If you don't mind having a conversation, that's an option. You can write me in my inbox too, as well, as to tell me how you didn't know something and now you know it, and how you're familiar with it. Give me some feedback. That would be great. What else? So, thank you very much for participating with me on figuring this out. Fear, rejection, and shame. Oh, okay, that's fine. So what happened is that I went through a live experience, and my ego my soul showed me what I was over-attached to. So my husband puts the bird in the cage, but my bird, little Ubi, decided it's going to I'm like, its body's stuck. And I thought, oh my God, and I just panicked in such fear. And what happened is that I was like, oh my God, he's dead. He's like, oh my God, you did it. And I don't know if I ever said those words, but I think I might have, or my energy projected it. But I was stuck, and this is where some people call it PSTD. But I was stuck, and I went back to being a little girl. And I was so wrapped up in looking, and the picture of my birdie was just stuck in my right eye. And then all of a sudden, he came out of it, and he just started walking around and eating. And I'm thinking, what did I just witness? That little birdie raised its little soul hand and says, I'm going to help mommy look at an issue, and so that she can resolve it. And I don't waste things, I do resolve them. So what happened was that when that happened, there was the picture in my eye of the bird, the feeling that I had when I was a kid, and then it was the reaction, but my husband didn't exist. And I got to catch a glimpse that I was a little girl. But my husband stepped in as the actor of my father, which they're nothing alike. Thank you, Spirit, for that. But what I said hurt, and his face was just in awe. I'm like, oh my God. And then all of a sudden, as I'm trying to explain, Spirit says, notice that I want you to witness not just what you have to heal, but this is what relationships are like. People will go through something that they had in their past that hadn't been resolved, and you'll have the slip of the tongue. You're saying it, and then people are like, oh, you meant to say that. That's why you said. No, it can be just a freaking recall, stuck in a reaction. And I did not know how to apologize because it had nothing to do with him. But he knows, because he knows that it was, oh my God, it's my childhood. He knows. We've worked enough. Our relationship's solid. But it shocked him just as much as, and which means, he could work on some stuff too then. But it was like, but the afterwards is the little girl was like, oh my God, she couldn't stop apologizing. But there was that fear. But Spirit said, pay attention. You asked why is it I cannot correct my gallbladder meridian? I've done everything that people have said, but it's still not working right. So, Spirit, teach me what the gallbladder meridian's about. And because I asked that, hey, Spirit says, I'll arrange this to get the answer, plus you get to heal, plus you get to resolve. So I got all these beautiful benefits from it, but that moment scared the shit right out of me. And I got to visit that part of myself that was so scared, and my gallbladder meridian was basically saying, see, it happened once, it could happen again. So as I began to look back, like the first time I gave birth, they injected an inducing, they didn't have to, there was nothing wrong. They just, I didn't know, I just wanted it over with. But I didn't know the hell it was going to do to my brain and my body, twisting it so much. It was more pain than I had waiting for the baby to come. That when I got pregnant the second time, my body says, oh my God, we can't do this. Now my mind is like, yeah, I'm pregnant. But my body was going apeshit all over the place. It was, I was having issues one after another. It had nothing to do with being pregnant. My body was like going body recall. I don't want to do this again because I know it's going to be painful. It's going to happen again, isn't it? And I didn't know this until the day of delivery, because the moment that the pain actually began to start was when I went into extreme anxiety, almost couldn't breathe. I started to panic and I thought I was going insane, and I literally felt my right brain disconnect, and I was stuck in my left brain of and I could not do anything about it. And thank God I had my beautiful Reiki master friend, teacher, and she's on the other side now, but her and her friend, they come rushing to the hospital, and they had their hands on my belly, and my little girl, she fell back to sleep. I fell asleep. That's how well, no drugs, just Reiki energy. I didn't have any pregnancy pains. But the baby was coming along, but the doctor on staff was pissed because he's like, oh my God, she's my last one. Hurry up and have the baby already. Hurry up. And I was sleeping. Now, the two Reiki masters, they went out to take a nap because they've been with me for many hours. God bless them. I'm sleeping, and the nurse told me, and she was like pissed at herself. But he come over, and because he knew I was going to say yes to whatever, he said something, and then he woke me up, and apparently I said yes to him, but I apparently agreed to have being induced. I would have never, ever, never, again, never. So I'm sleeping, and the next thing I know, my brain begins to twist, my body starts to rip apart. I started thrashing all over the bed, and they thought they were going to strap me down because they were afraid I was just going to fall on the floor, but they had so many people holding me down. My body's saying, see, I told you it was going to happen again. Now, apparently your gallbladder meridian holds all of those fears that he could do that to me. My little girl self looked at the man standing next to me, which was my beautiful husband, but I didn't see him. All I saw was my father. And oh my God, if he could do that to my sister and my brothers, he could do that to me. And great fear took over. When after the incident happened, the reaction and the falling apart and my apology, but then I couldn't receive love. I mean, I went through a whole ray. I'm like, oh my God, this is so deep. No wonder I don't have a gallbladder. Okay, Miss Amy, I hope you're listening. And I literally was just amazed by this whole incident. So again, when you're going through a particular incident, understand, don't waste it. So those emotions were so strong, and I thank God I had hope therapy, because I started to go through. And then Spirit says, okay, did you write it down about the gallbladder? Because do you want to do this again? I'm like, no. I took notes that I know what is sitting in the gallbladder meridian. Now, my papers I work with when I use my pendulums are all about the meridians and the emotions that are in there and the stories that get trapped, whether it's invading or it's meant to be in that spot. And after I took all that out, I was normal again, and me and my husband, he's like, I love you. I know it was something that you're going through. I'm so sorry, you know, because he's trying to reach out, trying to help me, and I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm living, so spiritually I'm standing here watching myself go through this, and I'm feeling it, because we have to learn the deep levels of feelings, but doesn't mean we have to stay attached to the emotions and over-identify with it. So I healed all that out. And, so now I just have to wait for the facing. And the facing is that it'll be presented again. Do I get a check mark saying I passed? Or is there more layers? Now, sometimes when it comes up, it doesn't mean that it didn't work. It just takes me to the next level. Okay? But your body's consciousness, if you're not on track, it will make you get on its old program. Your body's consciousness will actually cause you to create a feeling, so that it'll force you to think what the program's about. And I watch people do it all the time, and I say, let's get a hold of that program. We need to go in there, and we need to resolve and diffuse that emotion off of that meridian and out of that story, so that you can begin to live and breathe and feel again. You guys have been great. I appreciate this. Please share. Throw a party. Get more people involved. I don't know. If you want to repeat watching this, you can find it on my fan page, or you can go to YouTube and look for Medicine Woman for You and look for that. Now, I'm hoping I can buy my domain name again. If not, I will have to find a new name, and that's fine. But everything as Medicine Woman for You. Everything. You guys are great. I will be here tomorrow night. And if I can get all of this stuff working, I may, if you're okay with it, I may start at noon instead of at 1. Just an hour difference. It might help people from the U.S. to be more jump on, or wherever you come from. So, give me your feedback about the time, too. That would be great, if you don't mind an hour early. But tomorrow night I will be here at 9. And I'm looking forward to it. You guys are great, and thank you for all the help. Love it. I'm going to give the feedback. Remember, if you hit love, you get a card. And if you shared, and you get a card. And so I will get to that, because that's what my next adventure is to get off here and begin to send you all some cards and take clients. So, they're saying just double check. Yeah, I will double check to see if there's, nope, nobody else sending, ask for any reading. Okay, good. All right. I love you. Please stay blessed.